The world is in chaos. Well, they'd have you believe it. So when things get chaotic and when things get kind of crazy in the news and the marketplace and everyone's confused about what to do, and then positioning yourself has never been more important. And on this morning's call, so my circle, my inner circle, people who have private access to me, get together every Tuesday to jam on what they're working on, etc. And this morning I did something on positioning. So positioning yourself in a market, positioning yourself for now, making yourself relevant, making yourself attractive, making yourself safe to actually buy. So I spent 20 minutes taking the guys through exactly how to position, the 5 steps of doing it, how to think about the different components, what to consider, what to discuss, etc., etc. And then we jammed on it. I want to share that first bit with you. I think it's super relevant, it's super helpful right now, and I hope you get a ton of value from it. I want to do a ditty on positioning as it's time, shall we say. I think for in the next little while, there's going to be tons of winners and losers, and it will come down to not so much what you're selling as how you're positioned in the market and like who you're selling to. And that is, I like this bit because the positioning yourself correctly in the marketplace makes all the stuff you've already got like better. Not just better in terms of its actual, functionally better, but actually it makes it more pointy in terms of the stuff you do for people, and also the stuff you say out there. So I like the old, all the copywriting formulas and AI, DA and all that kind of stuff. And there was one that works in copy, but it works much better in positioning, which is positioning in the market. And the major mistake that people have with positioning is they look at their competitors and trying to position themselves relatively against what other people are doing. And this is the most common mistake, if you like, because when things get uncertain, people look for certainty. So they start looking sideways and they go, oh, so-and-so's doing that. And they attribute things that they can see, and they attribute status of the person who's doing them to what they should do next, right? So they position themselves against the competition rather than position themselves against the customer and the market conditions. I can hear myself back. How come I can hear myself back? Ross is putting me through a voice change.
I think I have a phone second.
So there's 5 pieces, right? And there's verify, validate, vantage, values, and the villain. So verify is what people are seeing now, or what they've seen in the past, right? And so when there's kind of chaos out there, people get acutely aware of where they are and how prepared they are for it. So a ton of people who are retired right now and watching their retirement accounts like dwindle are feeling like, oh fuck, all the investments I made in these things, well, maybe they were a mistake. So they see things, and then the things that they see, we validate their feelings, right? So when you verify, you're seeing, if I do the people that I talk to, like rising costs in ads, you're seeing old models not working. You're seeing unreliable staff. You're seeing poor experiences with coaches. So you're seeing all these things. These things have happened to them, right? And this is what they're seeing. And it can either be the immediate things they're seeing or the things they've done in the past. You validate how they feel. So that makes you feel, uncertain on what moves to make. That makes you uncertain on who to trust, right? And then you present your vantage point. This is what you see playing out. I see solo, one-person businesses with low overheads and easy to buy offers as, weathering the storm and going through this. And then the values are the common things. Like this is where you introduce the why. Like, why would I do that? Well, I'm a father and a husband, and I want my time, and I want to spend time on my health and my body and with my family. And so therefore, I'm building this kind of business so I can look after my family, right? This is the reason why I'm doing it. These are all the logical reasons why. These are the things you're seeing. This is, this is why you feel like that with them. This is the vantage point that I come from. The best type of business is a solo, offer-driven business with multiple modalities deployed. You've got one-time offers, you've got ways to acquire clients, and you've got ways to, you're just introducing them to the idea. And then the villain is complexity, teams, hiring, costs, gurus, selling the old thing. And you'll see some of the stuff in my content. I'll be not calling out specific people, but I'll be, pointing out that there's people selling ideas that they know don't work in the market anymore, right? And so when you go through this, exercise with your content and the positioning, then you go through a journey of taking someone through that. You're displaying empathy, that you understand what they're seeing. You're acknowledging their feelings, so you're being empathetic about that they are scared, confused, angry, that these are the things they hate, these are enemies. And of course, if you are hyper political, you would position the enemy as a particular individual or a person. Like, you need to do these things so you can get it over the man, right? And you could name the man if you had them. And then the vantage point is that this is what I see. So this is the bit where you're introducing, this is the way forward, and this is the way that you need to go. In times of high chaos, you need to be the most certain person in the marketplace, right? You need to present, even if you don't possess it, 100% confidence that the methods, the philosophy, that the strategy that you're presenting right now is the best thing for that person, right? And there's no room for maybes. The more chaotic the overall environment in the marketplace, the more uncertainty that's spinning around, and there's just high levels of uncertainty spinning everywhere, and there has been for quite some time, then the more certain you need to be about this is the way, and the more you need to dismiss the other maybes and the potentials, right? So high chaos is counterbalanced by high certainty. And if you look at the talking head marketplace, or the marketplace of ideas, or the social marketplace, the people who are sometimes incomprehensibly confident about exactly what's going to happen are the ones that get followed along, right? The people who are like, this is happening to the economy, and this is why tariffs are this, and this is people are listening to them because they have that certainty of, outcome, right? And so if we are leading people and selling them, we need to have that level of certainty, that almost irrational confidence that this is the way. It needs to be underpinned by true belief and competence, but you need to hold that certain future as that. The values piece is obviously people want to understand who you are, and the I think that's the most imperceptible shift in the marketplace in the last couple of years, that the how has become commoditized and the who has been a lot stronger. We are much more subject to the influence of who is doing something than how they're doing it, because the strategies that many of us do and teach and implement, and those things are pretty commoditized. Like everybody does them or different variations of them. So the who is very important. So you're positioning the values, and the easiest way to think about values is the common why. What drives you, what's important to you, etc. And then the like or the aspirational like will attract the like. And then the villain. And the villain is a stylistic thing. I personally don't call people out, right, by name or by specifics. And I don't even go very far when I'm using villains. I will use conceptual villains in any positioning I have, like bloated teams and overheads and costs. And I will use the villains as ideas. Different people have different and sometimes very effective ways of deploying this, but most everybody who has something that people are paying attention to will have some kind of villain, right? Something that resonates, which is the us and them thing that raises, because all of these positions just raise contrast. That's what they do. And so when there's a clear this is us and this is them, this is the villain, and we're the good guys, then it has a much stronger kind of attraction component. So positioning is fun in my mind, because we can take a lot of stuff that already exists and just run it through the filter to ensure it's positioned against something to make it much more fundamentally strong. Everybody has got something that's robust and fundamentally strong when people are put into it and put through it. But the way that we get more people to see that, i.e. the way we get more people to engage with us, the way we get more people to engage with the ideas and is contrasted against something. And if you think about positioning in brand or positioning in content or positioning in copy, they largely do the same thing, where they're just having a high level of contrast. But if you use those frames to go, what are people saying, how are they feeling, how do you present the vantage point, what are the values, and then positioning it against the alternatives, then you're just going to be the message will be that much stronger relative to the noise that's out there, which is ever present. And none of this is new, but we go through these cycles. And I think the last major destabilization of what the fuck is going to happen next was probably COVID. And I think a lot of people are looking at the world now and being told that everything's changed, and maybe it has and maybe it hasn't. But ultimately, if we position ourselves adequately, then people will look at our version of the future much more coherently. Anyone need that notes or screenshot? I'll drop it in there. I'll drop it in WhatsApp too. Any questions about that? Any commentary?
Anything? Yeah, super relevant.